watching the Potsy and Tino show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pants Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world, the Potsy and Tino Show. Our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. I want to go ahead and thank Roddy Strong one more time for that awesome intro to the show back when he was still AEW International Champion.
Me.
Would you like to explain?
Oh, I popped myself before we went on. We were talking about, I don't know what we were talking about. I was.
Oh, you were making this weird sound.
Okay.
I started asking him if he was beating off. I guess he thought I said meat.
No, you said it sounds like.
Oh, I said it sounded like flapping meat. Yeah.
And then you're like RB. You said, and then you're like, why didn't RB? What's up, Michael? Why didn't RB's sponsor the meat matches? I said Booker T could be the spokesperson. Just no bread, no water, just me.
So terrible. So terrible.
That made me laugh.
I know. It's still making you laugh. That's what's funny about it.
I popped myself.
So, Michael, what's been going on with you out there? I'll go ahead and I'll let you type it in the chat. Looks like Tino's not ready to be on the air.
Now my son's in here.
So okay, John. Thank you for letting us know. Because we just got the information. So for those that don't know, Sandmeth right there on Twitch is actually our buddy John Fubar. And we just heard, and John, if you're in the audience right now, let me go ahead and ask, why didn't you tell me that you were sick on Friday when I asked if you wanted to go to the concert? Like my brother had to tell me that you were under the weather, and not just under the weather apparently, because you're in ICU right now. So, don't they know that you're on the air at this point, Tino?
After 20 years, what have you learned, if not anything, about me? What have you learned? What's more important to me right now? What's the most important thing in my life?
Well, I think we're actually talking to part of your family.
You're not under this roof. I'm not feeding, or you're not. I don't file taxes on you, so
you probably don't want to, sir.
No.
I know you said you didn't feel up to the concert, and that was fine. But John, you didn't tell us that you actually were like super physically ill with like bronchitis or some sort of pulmonary embolism.
Yeah, dude. I think the estimate says sick and unemployed.
Yeah, okay. You might have said sick and unemployed, but I read that as unemployed, and you were just sick of being unemployed. But you know,
we all know that he doesn't read text the context. I've sent him many a text. I'm like, dude, that's not what I said. Go back up and read it. Or he'll send something. I'm like, did you read what I wrote? He just assumes, and he just reads what he wants to read. It's like I can send him something simple, and he'll just add his own words to it.
But that tells me a story I have to tell from last week at my job.
Wait, didn't think I was going to the hospital because I saw my pulse. Oh, whoa. Yeah, pulse oxygen. That's not good. That's no bueno.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, like when I had heart surgery, they didn't let me out of the hospital until it was over 90% on like a consistent basis. You know, if it dropped to 88, they were like, "Nope, you got to be here another 2 more hours." It's like, fuck you guys, let me go. You know, they didn't want me walking, they didn't want me doing anything, so like I couldn't get my oxygen levels up. You know what I mean? Like you gotta let the body breathe. You know, and
no, if your oxygen is that low and you get up and start walking, that's going to make you more, and it's going to drop more, and then you will hit the floor, and then you will be in the hospital longer. So shut the fuck up, stay there for 2 hours.
No,
I learned to listen to the doctors. They know more than you.
Well, here's what's funny. They apparently didn't know more than me because I got my oxygen levels up by walking around. So
Well, you got lucky.
they were actually like,
What I
this
always say, the sun,
normally do this.
the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. That's my saying. So
So what's up with you, Tino?
I'm about to kill my son.
I know. Like, I'm about to kill your son.
But hot water. Um, I got busy. I just got back from Hickory. I was there Friday night and Saturday night. Had a ball. Glad to be back home though. Then was off to the races today. Like I was telling you, my wife's a teacher, so schools in Wake County starts next Tuesday. So now, and they've just redone her whole school. Well, actually rebuilt it. They knocked it down and they totally rebuilt it. So she's not sure if she's going to be able to get in there in time for school to start. So and if they do, they might be in there this weekend moving stuff in and getting stuff set up. So that hopefully they can get in soon. So that we got that. Then my son's starting high school as a freshman, so we went to the orientation thing today, and then he has his football stuff. Then I had to go to the dentist, and then like I said, the next Monday is his birthday. So this weekend we'll be in school supplies and school clothes, and then his birthday's Monday. It's just a whole bunch of busyness this from now until at least probably next Tuesday. And then school starts, and so that's a whole new, especially for Nicole. First week or two of school. Get used to that. Getting this one used to. Now high school starts earlier, so he has to be at the bus stop at 6:30 in the morning.
At the bus stop.
So
At the bus
getting
stop.
him up, getting him up, and making sure he's out there and all that cool stuff. So it's going to be a fun the next few weeks, getting back into a routine. Both of them, getting ready, going to bed, getting up, going to school, and all that stuff.
So a couple questions there. First one, since Matthew's birthday is Monday, I assume that means we're doing our show Thursday next week. That would be the 29th. Because that'll be Bash at Berlin predictions and
okay, we can do that.
And I actually leave for Havelock on Friday about noon, so I'll be out in Havelock all weekend for a comic convention.
And I we could probably do it live.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
The second question there, I know that for his birthday, you oftentimes let Matthew pick the dinner place. So are you already giving him hints of where you would like to go instead?
No, because he already picked the place that I'm going to like. We're going to a steakhouse.
Which one?
What's the name of that steakhouse we're going to?
Texas Roadhouse or Texas.
No, not that one. This one over here. Maybe else to. Huh? Is it Longhorn? I don't think it's Longhorn. I'll have to look. Okay.
I mean, I ate at Longhorn yesterday, so.
Now, what's the name of that steakhouse? And it's over here in Apex. But yeah, so he's excited about that, and so is Dad.
Yeah, I like Texas Roadhouse. I like Longhorn. Anywhere I can get a good steak, I like. So, that's why like for my birthday, I always like to choose the Peddler. But then we have to like ask for being off work early and shit like that to be able to go to that one.
He was right. It is Longhorn. Oops, sorry, son. I don't know why I didn't.
Interestingly enough, I just read an article that was talking about how places like Longhorn and Texas Roadhouse are actually doing really well with their cost of meat versus like how expensive it is for an entire family to go there right now. And Longhorn's more expensive than Texas Roadhouse, but I mean, you always get a quality cut of meat. You always get I would say good service. Last night was decent service. But
here is always top notch. I've never had a problem with
I think the girl we had was new, but not new, but both steaks were a little bit overcooked. And when I say a little bit overcooked, I always order it medium rare because I'll eat it up to medium. But if it's over medium, I'm like, okay, I got to send this back, But so last night I ordered medium rare, came out medium, and I don't know how it came out medium because that damn thing was like that thick. So like the fact that it was this thick, there's like, did you leave it under a heat lamp too long? Did you put it in the microwave? Like,
what cut did you get?
I got a fillet last night. I was gonna go with the New York strip, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with the fillet because a strip they can absolutely overcook, But a fillet, if you order it medium rare, it should be medium rare when it's that, like that thick.
I like ribeyes.
I do too. My favorite is probably a T-bone because then you get a little bit of everything. You get the fillet, you get the ribeye, and you just get all the flavor because there's always that huge hunk of fat on there, that you just have to cut off and not eat. Like I don't know how people eat that, man. Like just the way it feels in your mouth. It's like no, get out. Like so, I don't like I cut all the fat off.
I eat it.
It's surprising you don't go to you don't go to steakhouses with me more often because then you would get extra fat.
I would get extra fat to get my weight back on it. I lost the extra fat.
So last week I talked about the my trial and everything.
Michael Turner just Michael Turner. Oh, I'm sorry, you said that Michael Turner just cussed in my daggone comments.
He cussed on your comments?
Yeah, he cussed in the comments.
Michael Turner cussed?
Yeah, pull up the one before the ribeye for me. Pull it up.
I'm looking where.
How dare he say NC State?
Oh, college football.
NC State Wolfpack. He cussed in my comments.
Oh, because he said NC State. I was like, Michael Turner didn't say anything wrong. So interestingly enough, I bought College Football 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
I posted a really funny thing on Facebook about it, which was actually a guy.
Now he really did cuss.
Yeah, now he really did.
Kick him off. Kick him off.
You mean like that?
Get out of my comments.
So, Michael, you are completely fine. This is a safe zone. But
for State fans or Duke fans.
I want to say this now. Notre Dame, my team. I'm actually wearing a Notre Dame shirt tonight. Actually, and this is what they call the shirt, but it's like 7 years old. So this was a Christmas gift from my mom. They put out it like Notre Dame puts out a shirt that the cost goes to the alum, or not to the alumni, but to like the student, not student athletes, like the actual students. The ones that really do need the money. Every year they put out these shirts, and there's always a different design for them. Everything else, Why
is Michael fucking with me now?
I don't know. I'm not putting any more of the comments up there. I do want to talk about this though. College Football 25, the video game came out.
Listening. Right? And is it good?
It's excellent. It is excellent.
I'm debating on getting it or not.
So I don't play Madden.
That Madden's my junk.
Well, I know. I almost asked if you wanted to buy the deluxe edition of because they came out with a double deluxe edition where it was college football and Madden, but I knew you'd get it on PlayStation and EA Play being on Xbox. I got it for $10 off by buying it on Xbox, so I bought it on Xbox. But my point is that getting through the first season of the game, obviously my Notre Dame Fighting Irish went undefeated because I was playing as them. But what's up, Joe Lowe? We haven't seen you in forever.
Joe Lowe.
But what I noticed, Tino, is that NC State made the college football playoff in the game. So there is actually a possibility that they are better than anticipated.
Well, the NC State's always been good at football. Now, let's not talk about basketball.
Well, right. I mean,
so I'll give them football.
Although, didn't they go to like the Elite Eight this past?
They got lucky this year. Actually, I had to give them credit. They did. I was
won the entire ACC tournament, and then they won like 4 more games before they finally lost. So,
First time
so I mean,
in like 50 years. I don't know.
40, because it was 1982 when they actually went that far because they won it in 1982. But no, the college football game is excellent. I highly recommend it for anybody that is a college sports fan. The post that I put on Facebook was actually a CBS announcer announcing all these like random headlines, like Akron has now gone 10 national championships in a row. You know, like that kind of like the bullshit that you can only hear by playing the college football game. But it was a real sportscaster actually going through all of it. And at one point he goes, Coach Prime apparently going up against his nemesis, Mr. Meathead Balls 420 or something like that, you know, because that's what the coach's handle is in the game. And then it goes,
Balls.
We just heard that Coach Balls forgot to save and had a power outage. So forget everything I just said. It was like the whole thing was hilarious, but like him sitting there going, Akron has now won 10 national championships in a row. This player, and it was like Squidward McGee has now won like 3 straight Heisman trophies, you know, like that kind of dumb shit.
Squidward McGee.
Yeah,
that reminds me of the Key and Peele. They have all the different names of the football names.
One of my favorite skits that they actually did. And you know, there was actually a player that when they were doing those would start sitting there and saying like his name was like Device Megatron or whatever. You know? Every time it was on Monday Night Football, they'd have him do his. He'd be like Device Megatron, the U. So I have a really funny story that I don't think I talked about last week. Did I?
Oh, you started to say something about your court. I'm sorry. Then I went up on.
Oh well, that's over and done with. But Tuesday of last week, so after we did our show on Monday, at my job we were given 3 employees to have work on things for us, right? I don't want to get myself in trouble at my job, and I don't think I will because I don't think anybody there's watching us on this show. But Tino, when I say that these 3 people did no work, I'm going to explain it. So we were told when they gave them to us that one, the head of the entire department that we work in had said, if you're going to work here, you actually have to do work. Okay. So that was the first thing that got said when they gave them to us. Then we were given them. We gave them a simple task. You want to know what the simple task was? It was taking a policy that was already written, right, and moving it onto a different template. Sounds pretty easy, right? Sounds easy. Like I'm not asking you to rewrite anything. I'm not asking you to use like common, not like I am literally saying copy this over to this. We're in a call with them and we're talking to them about it. We talk about it for I don't know 15 minutes, and we've got a call that we've got like I guess meeting that we've got to be on in another 15 minutes. So one of them literally sits there and asks this question. So where are we getting the information? That was the
copying one thing and put it to something else.
Yes.
Where are you getting the information?
Yeah. So that was at the beginning of this, right? So then we get to the half-hour mark, so we've got to hop into this other meeting. Like we can't be late to that. So we're like, hey, we have to hop out of here. You guys have your assignment. We walked them through like the first couple steps of it too. Okay. This was at like 10:30 in the morning. 2:30, we still haven't gotten any of them to turn in the work. Okay. So my boss actually says we should have a meeting with them one at a time this time, because I think if we take all 3 of them, they're all gonna just try to like claim that they were working on it together or whatever the case might be. First one, literally at the exact same spot, did not do anything. Okay. Second one, We get off the phone with the other one, and this is what she says to us. They say, well, I didn't know what else I was supposed to do because you all said that you'd get back with us about how to complete it.
You copy off this and put it on that.
So we then walk them through it. And they're like, oh, that's all you wanted me to do?
That was in the directions.
That's literally what we told you to do. Oh, well, I didn't feel like I had enough understanding of it to actually do it. Okay. Whatever. I need to get off this call so I can talk to the next person. Right? Get on with the next person. Guess what?
Didn't understand the directions.
Exact same spot. Walk them through it. Okay. And at this point, we're not even looking for spelling error, because they're like, this one is like typing it out rather than copy and paste. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't expect much because my boss had told me ahead of time, don't expect much, right? But I expected done. So the third one had a little bit done at this point. Okay. Did a little bit of the copy and paste stuff.
Michael's thing.
Michael, I'm getting to that.
Oh, no.
You hold your tongue, sir, because I'm going to tell you something about this.
No.
Hold on. So the third one has actually copy and pasted some of it at this point, right? To make it look like they were doing work. Here's the thing. When they shared their screen, we saw their chat with the other person where they were telling them, hey, you might want to have some of this done because da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I tell each of them as we're getting off, I need you to turn your work in by the end of the day when you're done with it. I get one of them. Okay. So at least one of them got that part of the understanding. The next day, so Wednesday, we get a message at like 8:42. Okay. Now we start work at 8. We work 8 to 5. Get a message at like 8:42. And we're supposed to have a meeting at 9 o'clock with them so that we can give them their assignments because they didn't turn their assignments in from the day before. So I figured that hour they'd be working on those assignments, right? This one contacts us and says, hey, do y'all mind being in a call real quick? We're like, no, we'll hop on a call. Get on there and basically get. I don't know where people said that we didn't want to work or whatever, but we never said any of that. And I don't know why people would say that I said that I don't want to. I was like, well, I don't know where that came from because that wasn't from us. Right? So someone sat there and sent a message to them that said, if y'all don't want to work, we're going to like end your contracts, like whatever. So then we get on the 9 o'clock call with them, to give them their assignments. Before we even start, can I go ahead and say something, please? Is what one of them says. And they want to talk about how they never said they didn't want to work. They just didn't know how to complete the work, so they couldn't do it. That was person number one. I'm like, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to give you your assignments. I'm going to tell you exactly what I want done. And you're going to complete it today. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't think as adults we need to have any more conversation about.
No, you shouldn't.
Right. So this is what I said. Then the second one does the little like teams hold the hand up, hey, can I speak? So I'm like, okay, go.
I'd have been in the call. None of y'all work. Bye. I fired everybody.
So the second one, I just want to piggyback on what the other one said because it isn't that I didn't want to do the work. I just didn't know how to do the work. So Tino, it was the exact same thing said. Like they hot potatoed the brain from one to the next. And I'm like, okay, I thought we already stated we're not going to have that conversation again. I'm going to give you your assignments. You're going to know what you're going to do, and you're going to get it done. And I expect this portion of your assignment to be done by 11 o'clock, and it's 9:15. So you got an hour and 45 minutes because trust me, this shouldn't take that long, right? Well, we have a call with this other person at like noon. So, and I'm like, yeah, okay, noon isn't 11. I want it done by 11, you know? So the third one at this point goes, uh, can I just go ahead and explain that I didn't say I didn't want to work, but
Are we still on this?
I literally I'm sitting there like grabbing a stress ball at this point, you know, like it's just squeezing the damn thing. And I'm like, I've already said I'm not talking about that anymore. Like we're done with that. Like I don't know why like you just had to repeat what the other two had already said after I already said after the first one we didn't need to hear any more of that. Like we don't care. Do the work. You want to work? Do work. That's it. Just do work. 2:30 in the afternoon. They all turned in their work right before noon, not at 11 like I asked, but right before noon when they had to go in this other meeting. Probably to say, well, we were actually working this time. Needless to say, they don't work for us at this point, but I think they didn't get terminated. I think they still work there. They just moved them around. And I like I'm so frustrated I had to actually get that off my chest. but dude, it literally was like they hot potatoed the conversation piece because they all said the exact same thing.
Yeah, yeah. You had more patience than I would have had.
Well,
Feel those?
It's because I've only been there 3 months, and even though I'm in charge of them while they're supposed to be doing my assignments, like the last thing I want is any type of HR thing going against me, like now here's what's funny. This is what I said to my boss. I was like, what if we had actually given them the assignment to write the policy for if there is no work that you have to find something to do or you get terminated for not doing it? Do you think that they would have realized that they were signing their own death warrants? My boss just starts laughing and she goes, no, they wouldn't. No. They'd probably be like, this sounds really harsh.
Wow.
Oh, just hearing this from the outside here, but see, I'm going to say that I don't think they're incompetent. I think that they pretend to be incompetent.
They're lazy. They didn't want to do anything.
That's it. They literally, and I mean, you want to know the worst part? They all started at the beginning of COVID.
They've been there longer than you.
Years. So, yeah, okay, I got to get off that topic. I mentioned last week that we went to solicitation with Died Hard. I want to let everybody know I did something really cool with my covers for it. So like the regular cover is just going to be like the bunny head, but then like the holographic cover and the metal cover is going to be with blood on it.
Oh,
so it's the same piece, but it's got like blood all over it.
That'd be awesome.
I'm really excited about it. Yeah. And in fact, so Michael, the guy who did Zor with me, he did a cover and he did both a plain no blood and then he did like a rabid Easter bunny one. That's the exact same art with all the blood on it. So yeah, we and Joe, like, we've started doing some really cool stuff, man. We've started actually making metal covers for our comics. You haven't been with us in a while.
That still amazes me. And I saw it. I saw
actually,
it. You had it.
I got one up there. Yeah, right behind me.
Yeah, he let me. He's like, don't take it out of the plastic because I don't want to get fingerprints. I'm not. I didn't want to touch it, but even through the plastic, it's metal. It just amazed me.
It was
It was amazing.
cold. It
Yeah,
was
it was
cold. It
amazing.
was heavy. Like, yeah. And in fact, with so I don't know if we've officially announced it yet, but I'll say it here because whatever. I like giving scoops. We just had so a book that I brought to Keen Spot called Mark Spear's Monsters, which is kind of like a new take on like the Universal Monsters characters. Um, his book just became the #1 selling book that we've ever done.
Wow.
Maybe not #1 book we've ever done because we've done like the pre-comic book day ones where you do like 30,000 or 40,000 units or whatever. But this one's over the 10,000 mark. Okay.
I I don't remember. I know you told me offline, and I don't remember if we said it online. So I don't want to ruin anything. But you had a book come into King Spot, and then you realized who the writer was, and you had to tell King Spot who it was. You know what I'm talking about? You remember that one?
That's this. That's this. Oh, are you talking? No, you're talking about Jeremy Whitley, the wrestling fan.
Yeah,
The one that we see at like DPW shows and whatever.
no, didn't you say another wrestler wrote a comic book?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it got we did talk about that a little bit last week.
Okay,
So,
I didn't want to.
and I didn't tell you.
What?
I did a cover for it. For that
For
book.
the wrestler that we watch.
Yeah.
You did a cover for that for his book. Does he know it's you? Did you get to talk to him?
No, I didn't get to talk to him. I got to talk with one of the other creators, the co-creator of the property. His
Are you allowed to say it? That's why I know where people are like, who is he talking about? Are we allowed to say it or no?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Because
Okay.
it's officially announced. We announced it at San Diego, just like I did with Died Hard.
Okay.
In fact, my video played and then his video played. And just so everyone knows, All Ego Ethan Page, the NXT champion, has a comic book coming out from Keen Spot in December, same month that my book comes out. And it's called Kids These Days.
I just think that's so awesome.
And now I will say this. I think my piece of art is not going to be a standard cover. I think it's going to be like the flip of one of the metal covers.
Got it.
So it'll
that's
be
that's still awesome though.
Yeah. I ended up reaching out to the other guy and he was like, yeah, man, we'll totally take another cover. And I'm like, cool. So interestingly enough, my Died Hard partner, Jay Hammond, he's actually doing a cover for Kids These Days as well. So we not only have our own book coming out in December, but we also have covers coming out for All Ego Ethan Page's book, Kids These Days. I'm really excited about that because like hopefully it means that I will get to meet him at some point and be like, dude, I did this cover for your book.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd be really excited about that. Apparently, it's like a they said it's kind of like The Boys in that kind of realm where it's like super high action and probably bloody and gory, but it's like about a group of teenagers like with superhero powers. So it sounded pretty cool. But I asked to be a part of it because I was like, man, how many times and yeah, so what Tino's actually talking about is when I got the package of stuff that was going to be up for Keen Spot's San Diego Comic-Con panel, that was on there and I was like, oh shit, Ethan Page, and the publisher Chris was like, oh, you know who that is? And I'm like, dude, he's the NXT champion. And when I said that, Chris was like, yeah, WWE has to approve every piece of marketing material that he does. So like when he's sitting there and he's like, hey, everybody, it's All Ego Ethan Page, like everything he said had to be approved by WWE people. So
if we meet him, we can't get him to do a spot for us.
So I was actually more worried that like I would get told, hey, WWE's got to approve your cover. And apparently that's not the case. So I thought that was pretty cool though. But yeah, that comes out in December. So I'll have my book come out in December, and kind of as like a nice little other thing, I'll have a cover for All Ego Ethan Page's book the same month. And that's, like I said, it's probably going to be the hollow foil cover only, though I did ask specifically, like every book that I do a cover for now, I'm asking for like one of the metal covers. So I'm like, I'd really like to get a metal cover with just my, like, and so that was one of the things I wanted to talk about with Mark Spears Monsters. When we were going through the entire talking process about like how many we're printing, how many we're doing, like this kind of stuff, I was like, guys, this is our first book that like KeenSpot's done over 10,000 of, that's like creator owned and everything. And I said, wouldn't it be like, and then Mark, the creator, I mean, he's writer, artist, colorist, he did everything. Like he, like all I had to do was approve the proofs pretty much. I didn't like, even as an editor on the book, I didn't do very much. But I still brought it to the company, got it published, like sent out marketing materials, got email addresses for different comic book stores and whatever. But anyway, we're doing a special 50 copies only, KeenSpot.com, KeenSpotShop.com edition. There's only 50 copies of that. But then I was like, hey, wouldn't it be really cool if we did 3 copies of a metal cover and it was the KeenSpotShop.com cover, but there's only 3 copies and there's one for each of us? And they were all like, "Ooh, that's a really cool idea." So we're all gonna get 1 copy of that, because I was like, it's kind of like a gold record, like we did 10,000 units. We might as well celebrate with something, It'd be really cool if we could even get like a gold medal instead of like the silver medal, like.
Yeah.
But I like, it's at the printer now. I don't know what they're doing. It's probably just going to be a metal cover, but I'm fine with that. I'm going to meet Mark in November, get him to sign it, get me to sign it, and then I'm going to send it off to get graded like I did with the other ones. So I'm really excited about that. And then Tino, I started playing around with the idea of taking a book that Eric Kent, the artist of Junior High Horrors, and I have worked on, that I've talked about on the show. We've actually had one of the guys that we've like basically licensed his look, Sean Cruz. We've had him on before. My wrestling sci-fi book, the first issue's done. So now we're trying to figure out how to actually like put it out there into the world. Like, do we go through KeenSpot, which I can always do, or do I sit there and try to do something like publish it through Amazon, like I did with my writing book, or my How to Create Comics book. And I got to the point where I'm like, so I tried to put it on Amazon, and Amazon was like, oh, it's got to be 72 pages. So it's got to be a full graphic novel for Amazon to pick it up. So now, like, we only have 20 pages done. So now I've got to sit there and actually like bust that out, and get him back on that one so that we can actually get that out as like a whole book. Because
are you going to try to make it a graphic novel then? You can try to go for those 70 pages?
Yeah. It won't be that difficult. I mean, I've already written probably the next 20 pages. So I mean, like, just getting another 2 issues out. I mean, it was supposed to be 4 or 5 issues anyway. So between 80 and 100 pages. So I'll just do that. And then let Eric finish it on like the time frame that he's got. Now, at that point, we'll determine whether or not we're going to do a Kickstarter. We're going to do this. But putting it on Amazon, like it's print on demand. So like if it gets 5 orders, it prints 5 books and they just go out, so it's kind of neat like that. But that one's in production right now. And then I got told by my buddy Daryl Murphy, who will be at the Friends of the Brothers Boyd Comic-Con on the 31st, which is in Havelock, North Carolina. My buddy Murphy is drawing my book Terminal, about a superhero that gets cancer. And it's like my first superhero book, right? But he's drawing that right now, and he said he's got about 6 pages left to do. So we're moving along on that one now too. So some cool stuff moving. And then today I got to see, and I'll probably show you after, but I can't show it yet. I got to see the cover from the artist of Immortal, like his cover for Immortal #2. And I literally told him, I was like, Rob, this is probably some of the best work you've ever done. Like, this is phenomenal. And he goes, wow, man, I really appreciate the kind words. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of makes me feel bad that I'm the colorist on the rest of the book, because like, if you were able to do this on the cover, I can't imagine what the whole book would look like. You know, I was like, but we still got to keep it on a time frame. So. But his cover for it is incredible. Like he's reaching new levels with his artwork, and it's so nice to see as it progresses, because you can see the book. Like, a lot of times, because artists are on like tight frames and everything else, internet's gotten choppy. Am I here?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out.
Okay, am I better now though?
Yeah, you're better now.
Okay, yeah, it just like dropped down to like 1 bar, and then okay, now we're good. But normally a comic book, like if it's like a Marvel comic, you actually see degradation in the artwork because artists fall behind on their time on their deadlines and whatever. With this, because I didn't really give him deadlines, I was like, hey, get it done when you get it done. I'll color it when it's done, and then I'll send it back over so you can put the words on the pages. You see the artwork actually improving, and it's crazy to see. But like, going from issue 1 to issue 2, I'm telling you now, I think I've colored either 5 or 6 pages for number 2 already. But even my coloring in number 2 looks better than my coloring in number 1 did. So, and I even used a completely different method, like not different method, but a different palette, if you will, than I did when I colored Stonkered for Eric. So it's interesting to see like the different like ways things are going with it. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on with me. Obviously we mentioned that John is in the hospital. Hopefully he's doing better. I haven't seen him drop a comment in a while, which means he's probably getting blood taken and everything else. Wake Med seems to they're like vampires over there, man. I don't know if you've ever they literally just keep taking blood from you. I remember, so heart surgery, they took blood from me, and then they were like, okay, this is the last time we're doing it. And then 4 more times within the next hour, they came in to draw more blood. So it
was the last time that time.
Well, I flat out told them, I said, listen, you can take as much as you want right now, but this is the last time you're taking any blood from me. I am not letting you take any more blood from me the rest of the night. So, because every time they'd leave, they'd be like, okay, try to get some rest. I'd be like, motherfuckers, how can I get any rest when you keep sticking my arm with shit? And they kept doing it. It was ridiculous. So I finally just was like, no more. And Shane was there with me, my brother-in-law, and he had to sit there and actually go, he said no more. We're not letting you take any more blood from him. Like who's drinking it at that point? Like
yeah.
So anyways. All right, you ready to jump into some wrestling?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about? Oh, I didn't put it down as a banner on here. I will though, because I really like it. Okay, there it is. And let me put it up there. Have you watched these YouTube interviews that Cody Rhodes doing with the other WWE superstars?
The ones like he was doing with R-Truth, and he did.
Yeah.
I watched a couple with R-Truth. I think I saw one with Bianca. I've been watching some of them. Yeah, was it Bianca?
So he did one with Randy Orton, and him and Randy got emotional because like what's funny is that like every single one of them seems to be like Cody Rhodes is marking out for somebody, and he's always like, hey, listen, I'm not trying to mark out here. Like everyone thinks I'm marking out on these, but so like when he was talking to The Miz, he's actually talking about how like him and The Miz were both at OVW at the same time. And I didn't know that. But when they were, thanks, Michael. Wake up, you were sleeping. Exactly. But I didn't know that he was at OVW at the same time that The Miz was. And Cody even sits there and he goes, and I was a nepotism hire. So it was a little bit easier on me because, a lot of times when people knew that my dad was Dusty Rhodes, they took it easier on me, like with learning tree stuff and whatever. And and like Miz is like, oh, don't bullshit, man. Like you sat there and you tried to sit there and live it for real and tried to learn everything the way that you're supposed to. Like, so they both marked out for each other. But the Randy Orton one, like Randy Orton was like his mentor,
Yeah.
and while he was his mentor, he was also the guy that, there's the story that Cody tells all the time where Randy Orton like pulled the urinal off the water and it just started spraying and flooded the entire bathroom the one time. And then of course the next day he's like, I really want to know who did that. So Cody Rhodes is talking about how like when he left WWE and then came back to WWE, how he had heard that Randy Orton had grown up, and he was like, bullshit. There's no way Randy Orton. Like, no way. And then all of a sudden he saw it and he's like, Randy's got 5 kids. Randy's actually just a chilled out dude now. He just sits there, comes to work, does his job, helps people out, listens, gives advice on matches. Like who is this Randy Orton that we're seeing? And Randy Orton like talked about all that, and it was just a really cool interview, because the only other person I think that does interviews like that is Chris Van Vliet. Like I watched the Beth Phoenix one with him today, and that one was really good too, because like Van Vliet's sitting there and he says something to her where he's like, well, you were kind of like besides China, it was just like you. And she goes, oh no, back in the 80s, there was Alundra Blaze and there was Bull Nakano and there was Luna Vachon. And she just went through like the entire list.
Jacqueline.
And then she brought up Jacqueline. She brought up Jazz. She brought, she was like, so there's been plenty of like badass, like muscular women. It's just I was the Glamazon. And her interview with him where she was talking about the Santino thing, that was her pitch. She actually gave that to Vince. And Vince was like, yeah, and it took a week, but then Vince found her and he goes, we're running with your idea and we're starting it tonight. And she's like, what? and it was because apparently like Santino went from being like, the honky tonky man guy, to all of a sudden it was like he was kind of floundering, and she had just gotten done where she went through like that long unbeaten streak, and then she finally lost to like Eve Torres, and she was like, so what do you do after you're the unbeatable monster that loses? So I said, how about we make it fun? And that's why they did that. And it's funny to me because like it makes me think that the person that should have inducted her in the Hall of Fame was Santino.
Yeah. Who inducted her? Was it Edge?
I don't remember. I think it was Molly Holly, actually. No, you know what? Maybe it was Fit Finlay. I don't remember though.
Let's see. Yeah. Now I'm curious.
Now with the Cody Rhodes interviews though, he was talking to the Miz in the one that I was watching earlier today. And Miz talked about how he's a 2-time Grand Slam champion and everything else. And he said there's only one belt in WWE that I've never actually held, and it's not even a WWE belt, but I want it, and I want it so bad that I've actually bet my own belts and lost them because of it. And he's talking about the up, up, down, down championship, video gaming championship against Xavier Woods. And Xavier Woods now owns 4 of the Miz's title belts.
Oh my God.
And of course, like what's funny about that is Cody's like, we'll explain that to the people because they probably think, oh, it's just a replica title that you have in your house anyway. And Miz is like, oh no, these are the official, like there's certain scratches on them and everything. And he's like, and my problem is that Xavier Woods every so often sits there and says, hey, you can win it back from me. You just got to put another belt on the line. And then I lose that one too.
He's such a dumbass.
So he's lost like 4 belts to him. But what was really cool about that interview with The Miz was it really, while it rehashed some of the stuff that we've obviously heard about, like The Miz eating chicken over JBL's bag or whatever and getting kicked out of the locker room and everything, they really talked about more of the stuff that like is going on now. So it was like the Miz having a family and having 2 kids, and how Maurice actually is now a licensed real estate agent, and they don't flip houses, but they buy houses when people just need to get out of them. Like, so they're like moving to another country or whatever. So they'll buy the house from them, and then they'll clean it up. They'll live in it for a couple months, and then they'll do it again with another house. So they buy houses not necessarily on the cheap, but on like on the level. And then when when the price goes up, they go ahead and they dump the house again. So what he was saying, and Cody was like, Mike, it's so crazy looking at those houses because they're so clean. And you have 2 daughters that are like 6 and 4 or whatever. And Mrs. like, well, they don't walk in through the front door. They always walk in through the side door, which is like through the kitchen or whatever. So like they'll track mud in and everything else that way. But they're not allowed to walk in through the front door because then we can keep that clean. I was like, that's genius.
Sense.
Yeah. So and they both talked about how like they never realized that wrestling could actually pay for that kind of house, like the $2 million mansion or whatever. And it's crazy to think about. So I thought that was really cool. And the Cody Rhodes ones are very intimate, very
he's on the bus and they're drinking his
but yeah, the Wheatley American vodka, which I want to try at some point because the slogan for it is Wheatley, so good you can drink it neatly. So they're basically saying you can just drink it straight. Now, every time they go on the bus, someone's made a drink out of it, so they're drinking it, but they're drinking like I think the Miz had a cold fit. It was like a cold fizz, but he called it a cold Miz, But here's what I thought was funny. So you're right, they're on his bus, but they have like 12 bottles of the vodka all around on the bus. And there's no way that bus is moving at any point with all those bottles out like that.
Oh no, that's stationary.
They just set it up, display it, and everything. The light kept the light over Cody's head kept going out like in the bus during this episode. He's like, "What the fuck?" But it was good. I
said, my favorite. I like the one with R-Truth though. I think that's my favorite one so far.
You mean the guy that Cody still can't get a win against?
Yeah, that was funny. And R-Truth is just so funny. And like you said, they're just complimenting each other. And R-Truth's like, no.
Yeah, I've noticed that he doesn't ever have heels on the show though. Like they've got to be baby faces to be on the show because he's talking nice to people, Yeah. So he's still keeping some of that kayfabe in there, which I enjoy and I prefer. Tino, we didn't do this at the beginning of the show like we normally do. And I think we've got to go ahead and give our 10 bell salute, our 10 second of silence. At 81 years old this past week, we lost Afa of the Wild Samoans, the uncle of Roman Reigns, and I guess the entire bloodline. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but my screen's all turned off just a second ago. We're still online, right? You can hear me.
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, everything just turned off for a second. Like everything, like computer, like monitor. My phone even made a weird buzzing sound. That was weird.
Is it the power or something go off in your house?
No, I don't think the power went off. You know what? No, the power strip and everything looks good. Anyways, but we lost Afa of the Wild Samoans. Like I said, the uncle of just about everybody in the bloodline right now. And you and I were talking about this, and it's just almost 2 months since we lost Sika, who is the father of Roman Reigns.
And I thought, like I was telling you, it doesn't sound like it's been that long. But I kept saying it's only been like a couple of weeks, but no, it's back in June. Yeah, Phil Donahue died too.
What's that?
Phil Donahue, he died. And I was joking with Nicole because I saw it earlier. I was joking with my wife. I'm like, Phil Donahue was only 88. I'm like, Phil Donahue had the Phil Donahue show when I was like a kid, like in elementary school, and that bitch had white hair then. So I'm like, he's only 88. How old was he back then, looking like he was already in his damn 50s.
Why is Jason messaging us on here on our phones when he could be in the audience, actually like telling everybody his great
Oh,
news?
well, he probably, Jason. He he can't get on here. He's probably doing something right now.
He's probably knocking on the bathroom door and nobody's down there.
27th. Oh, he's gonna be gone a minute. Wow.
So just so everybody knows, friend of the show, Blitzball champ Jason Ingram, who we go to a bunch of wrestling events with, is going to Japan at the end of the year.
Why? Why?
Oh, I'm sure he just wants to go. I'm sure he's always
Oh.
wanted to. Heck, I want to. But you mentioned he's going to be gone for a minute. The thing with something like that is that it takes a day to get there. It takes a day to get back. You kind of want to put some time in when you go on a trip like that.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
And I bet
That's awesome.
you know what? If he's going at the end of the year through like the first week of January, he's probably going to be there in time for Wrestle Kingdom.
That's what he just said. He's going to be doing Wrestle Kingdom 19, Wrestle Dynasty. He said, but there'll be more. So that I figured it had to be wrestling related.
Yeah. And it says he'll be back on 1/7. It sounds like the show will probably be like 1/4 or whatever, which means like, man, like that's awesome though. Like I would love to go.
That's cool.
I keep saying we're gonna do a special trip, Tino, because you sent me a picture this week. And in my text messages, you sent me a picture saying you were watching the Damian Priest.
Oh yeah.
And I guess second row or something.
I don't know if it was second row. They might have just been where a camera might have just caught him. I doubt it was. Well, she had connections, so it could have been close up.
Yeah, she was probably sitting in the family section. Yeah. And when we do that, when she's actually able to get us tickets, it's like 8th row. So, but they were on the floor.
Yeah.
Anyways, Tino sent me a picture of his daughter and her boyfriend at WrestleMania this year. She didn't even ask us if we wanted to go.
Well, first of all, seeing as my daughter, she probably asked me before she'd ask you.
Well, except I probably would have gotten her a place to stay in Philly.
She stayed with Nicole's best friend who lives in Philly. Next. And they had their own little private space.
Yeah, I see. I didn't know Nicole had a best friend in Philly, but I was born in Philly, so I've got family there. Motherfucker.
So to see. I'm just mad you assuming my daughter, you can write the coattails that you're going to get invited as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it. I said it with my whole chest. I did.
Wow. I've already flat out said that I want us to go to WrestleMania next year, and of course everyone's sitting there. I don't know if I can make it out to Vegas. Brr.
See, and let's explain again. You have you to worry about. We have families and other financial obligations to worry about. And like I said, if it falls around my wife's birthday, that's a no-go.
And anyways, actually, it doesn't next year. It falls on like April 28th.
Oh, well then, yeah.
Yeah, because April 6th is your wife's birthday. April 7th is my mom's birthday. So yeah.
Why are they moving it? It's always been around early April.
They actually so I remember them distinctly talking about how they wanted to try to move it out of the first weeks of April because they want it to be warmer. And then they picked like the hottest fucking place to go to.
And the most expensive.
No, it's not though. Like,
if I went, it would just have to be WrestleMania. Like I see, if I went, I want to go. I want to be there for the whole. I want to be there for Raw, and I want, if not Raw, yeah, I want to be there for Raw. I've always wanted to be like the Raw after Mania. So I think that'd be awesome. Yeah. But with WrestleMania being 2 nights and then Raw, that's 3 nights. That's
that's SmackDown in the Hall of Fame, WrestleMania, Raw, and let's not forget Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, so I might as well stay home.
See, I really want to do this, man. Like we've talked about it. You and I have never been.
How much does it cost, though, Rob? That's what I'm saying.
You know what? We could probably get it cheaper than you think. And yeah, I mean that. And the reason why is because like I could probably look at different hotels in Vegas, and because I've been to them in the last 10 years, they would probably cut me, give me a nice deal on rooms.
Yeah, but then how much is tickets for those nights, right? To go
I
to the
mean, yeah, you're gonna have to pay something for the tickets, right?
yeah, so I'm
But
thinking.
but here's the thing: there's always scalpers. So you could literally walk up and at some point before the bell starts, there's going to be people sitting there going, "I just need to get rid of these."
Yeah, but
In fact, I know that's true because there was a guy there was a guy on one of I think it was, I don't remember which podcast it was, but he was actually talking about how the very first WrestleMania he ever went to was like 25 and his dad took him to it, and this year he sat second row and he said he paid very well under what the ticket price was because he walked up like an hour before the event and someone was just trying to get rid of second row tickets. So we made him a deal. He said, "I'll give you this." And he said, "All right." Now, granted, I don't know what the face value on those tickets was, and I'm not saying I even want to sit second row. You know me, I like sitting in the bleachers so I can actually see shit.
I know that's still a gamble too.
It is. It is. But I mean, worst case scenario, you're out in Vegas when it's happening and you go to all the other like smaller shows like Jason did.
There was a guy who knew a guy, and that guy was undercover.
That's funny, Michael. Hey, you know what? We didn't do our 10 seconds of silence.
Oh,
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Give the 10 seconds of silence for AFA.
yeah. Let me start my timer.
Yes. Since you started talking rather than just
Well, I mean, you didn't say when. You just like we're gonna do our 10 minute seconds. You never say okay, starting now.
it's fine. It's fine.
I didn't know you were starting now. 10
You
seconds.
you tell me when we start.
All right, ready. 10 seconds is a long time.
It really does start feeling like a long time of dead air, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that this Scott W on Twitch is not gonna get his comment posted on our thing because he's just trying to scam people. And I don't think I can block him from here, so I'm not going to do anything about that. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about some other stuff before we get into all in predictions. Did you read the information about the Young Bucks this week?
No. What did the young fucks do?
Oh my God. So it's not what they did. Their contract right now, apparently they only work a certain amount of dates, kind of like a Brock Lesnar contract, with more dates on it than a Brock Lesnar contract. But here they are supposed to be the EVPs of a company, right? Well, Jim Cornette, who is not a Young Bucks fan, although I think closeted, I think he really is a Young Bucks fan. Like, I think he purposely goes the negative route to sit there and, try to get heat, but at the same time, he's always talking about them. But he said this week that, like, Ole Anderson would have said, if you're an EVP and you're booking the show or you're booking any part of the show or you're working behind the scenes in any way, shape, or form, you're never off. You always have to be at TV. You always have to be on the road. You always have to be behind the scenes. And here they are sitting there going, "Oh, well, our contracts say that we only have so many days that we work." And again, it's still more than like a Brock Lesnar, although not really, because they only work 52 weeks a year and they only do the TV, right?
If that, and they haven't been on TV. Like they're on TV sporadically.
Well, they did defend the titles this week. And of course, they defend the titles against either the Acclaimed or FTR at All In. But even that match,
It's a triple threat. Did you not watch Collision?
No, I did not. So
It's a triple threat
now it's going to be a triple threat. Okay.
because the FTR and the Acclaim fought to a time limit draw. They fought the whole 30 minutes to a time limit draw. Like the belt that they fought to the bell
Good
ring.
for the Acclaimed. I get the feeling that the Acclaimed might actually win this match too, only because like the Young Bucks don't want to drop it to FTR.
That's so fun.
Well, and so let's start with the beginning when it comes to the Young Fucks here. Penta and Rey Fenix are in discussions with going to WWE now, right?
Because
At
they're
least,
good they're a good tag team and they're not getting used to their potential because the Young Bucks know that they're better than them.
well,
And they know it. You like
okay.
that?
I want to make sure that I understand how you mean this, because when you say they're better than them, you mean that Penta and Rey Fenix are better than the Young Bucks. I agree. But since the beginning of AEW, anytime and there have been matches where Penta and Phoenix won,
Mhm.
but they've never been made to look like the stronger team. And I've said this for 5 years. And sometimes people agree with me, sometimes people sit there and say, "Oh no, when they did the best of 7, who still won that best of 7?" When Penta and Phoenix won the first time, one of them took a thumbtacked shoe to the face, and the Young Bucks didn't even sell the other team's finish. So there's all the,
It's kind of like when all the WCW guys came over from WWE. They all got not a couple, but you had your Booker T's, you had that, but for the most part, fucking Sting lost to Triple H. They're not gonna let the so you know what I mean. So yeah,
Goldberg wasn't used properly his first year.
so
The
for the Young
NWO,
Bucks,
when they brought in the NWO, besides Scott Hall getting fired, I felt like they used them fine. Ric Flair, I think, got used fine.
yes. I said with some exceptions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. But these were the high dollar guys,
Mm-hmm.
and in most cases,
Sting was a high dollar guy.
yes, but Sting was probably 10 years later than he should have. Because if Sting would have come over in like 2004 when he went to TNA, he probably would have gotten used properly because he also would have been 10 years younger.
I think we probably would have got that Undertaker match too.
I think if he had come over in 2004 or whatever, yes, we would have gotten the Taker versus Sting match. I think we would have gotten that. I think we would have gotten some really cool matches like Sting versus like Rob Van Dam, which you ended up getting later at TNA, but it was neither one of them were really putting in the same levels of work. But think about this. Imagine if you had gotten 2004 Kurt Angle versus Sting, Shawn Michaels versus Sting, Chris Jericho at that point having been world champion multiple times versus Sting, Rock versus Sting, Brock versus Sting, like
Austin.
John Cena versus Sting. You would have had so many matches. And then you would have gotten like CM Punk versus Sting, Seth Rollins versus Sting early, like, whoo.
But I digress. The Young Bucks, they don't want to sell for anybody. And I think, which it's almost like if they know the team's better than them. So we've already said that, yeah, Penta and Phoenix are better, right? FTR's better, but they don't want to drop the belt. So you're saying that they want to drop them to the Acclaim. So we're saying the Acclaim's not better than the Young Bucks.
So I'll give an example. Do you remember the triple threat at SummerSlam where it was Mankind versus Triple H versus Stone Cold Steve Austin with Jesse Ventura as the special ref?
Yes.
You remember who walked in as the champ? I know. I'm like got to think history here.
And that match it was Stone Cold Rock and Mankind?
No, it was Stone Cold, Triple H, and Mankind.
Wasn't it was it H?
No, it was Austin that walked in as the champ. Now, rumor was that backstage that match was originally a singles match, and Austin would not drop the belt to Triple H. Like, and they wanted him to drop it to Triple H. They wanted him to drop it to Triple H, and he would not drop it to Triple H. Like, he wouldn't take the pin. So what did they do? They made it a triple threat and made Mankind eat the pin. So Triple H ended up getting the win.
Got it. Okay.
So I think, and I'm not saying that they think the Acclaimed is better than them. I think what they're going to do is not eat the pin. And FTR will eat the pin from the Acclaimed.
And the Acclaim will win the belts that way. Okay.
That way, the young and
Well, it would make sense the storyline because FTR and the Acclaim are fighting. So or feuding right now, you know what I mean?
yeah, but they're both baby faces. What's up, Mr. Helios?
I think if you need to go back and watch, I know you said you didn't watch Collision. Towards the end of that match, FTR was getting cheered more. I don't know if the Acclaim, and they're starting to, and the the promo they did kind of before the match, and the promos are getting darker. You know what I mean? They're more
Well, I mean,
serious. I think the Acclaim's getting a turn.
well, it's similar to Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland right now is definitely the heel in his feud, which is stupid because they've literally gone babyface heel, baby with the horrible booking of Swerve Strickland during his title run. And now you have to he's got to be the heel because they've made Danielson such an uber babyface for this match that there's nothing else you can do about it. Like that Green Day package that they put together for Danielson.
Oh God, that got me.
I will give Tony Khan his credit where due. And people think that I'm just a WWE mark, and I'm not. I like good wrestling product. That's what I like. That's why I've actually liked TNA recently, and I've actually watched some of it on YouTube, and I've been like, wow, okay, good, But yeah, that video package makes me sit there and go, man, everyone's sitting there talking about Swerve's actually putting in the work for this feud, and he is. He has been top notch, but he was a babyface walking into this, and now he's a heel. And he's a heel because it's like, well, we just literally made Bryan Danielson this video package that there's no way you're gonna boo him. There's no way. And it's horrible.
Yeah.
Because Swerve Strickland
they painted him into a corner. They painted themselves into a corner with that one.
Yeah. And now and we'll talk about it when we actually talk about the predictions, but I mean at least they got it to where this match should be the main event now. Because before that, I was telling you it should be Tony Storm and Mariah May.
Mm-hmm.
Put the hometown hero heel, but put the hometown person who's up for the championship in the final match. That would have made sense. But now you can't. Now it's got to be Danielson. There's no way that and the problem that I have with that is that it means that Swerve is inconsequential, not necessarily in the outcome, but it didn't matter who Danielson was going against. Danielson was going to get cheered like this. So, and the only thing that would have been better is if it was Nigel McGuinness somehow in this match, which I'll talk about. Oh, because those two have feuded for their entire careers. Anything else about AEW you want to talk about? Because the Young Bucks stuff where they're not working and they're it just so this is what I posted on Twitter today. And fuck Elon Musk for saying that he doesn't want it ever called Twitter again. Fuck him. It was Twitter before you bought it. Anyways,
I refuse to call it that.
yeah, exactly. And so I call it Twitter. So on Twitter today, I saw something that said that was about this article with Cornette talking about how like people are tired of the young bucks and their how they keep themselves over and everything else. And I posted on there. I said it's like that line from The Dark Knight where it's you start as the hero, but you stay long enough to where you find yourself to be the villain. And
Mm-hmm.
I was never a fan of the Young Bucks, but what they did as trailblazers in the industry with the Elite to start All Elite Wrestling, to not go to the WWE and to basically be part of that whole group that was able to start a real competitive, I say competitive, but it's not, to start another brand so that more wrestlers have a place to work. When they started it, it was great, right? Because they started All Elite Wrestling. But now what we're finding is because there isn't someone like a Triple H or a Vince McMahon in charge of the brand and being able to keep people in line, they're running amok.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, you know what they're doing is they're CM punking AEW.
What do you
They're
mean?
doing the same thing. They're running amok. They're allowed to do whatever they want. They stay just far enough inside the line that Tony lets them do whatever they want to do. And that's where they are.
And that's where he's fucking up.
Yeah. But again, when it started and they had Cody and they had Kenny there every week and they had both of them and they had Tony, all of them were a group that was actually making decisions.
But now it's like Tony's he's letting the inmates run the asylum. He's letting them do whatever the hell they want to do, right? And that's where he's messing up. That's going to be the downfall of him if he doesn't if he doesn't take control.
It's like when Bischoff let Hogan do whatever he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, started great, but then 2 years later they're out of business. You know, like, okay, 4 years later, 5 years later they were out of business, but 96 to 2001, but 5 years later they were out of business. And it's because at the beginning Bischoff let because the NWO was great. And then what happened? Same thing happened when Bischoff went to TNA. Bischoff and Hogan. Oh, we don't want that 6-sided ring. We want a 4-sided ring. Oh, we don't want this. We want this. We want to go Monday night. We want to go against Raw. Like, and what happened? TNA got their best ratings ever, and then they fell off the map. Same thing. Let's talk about some WWE before we get into the predictions.
Yeah, because
Unless you got something else.
No, we got about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's almost an hour and a half. So all right. So WWE really. I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do. Like I said, eventually they're going to have to bring somebody in to help the what do you call them, the Terror Twins, because they're still getting outnumbered. It's only two of them, so you still got, you know what I'm saying. So and so who do they bring in, right?
Well,
So we already established that. We've said that Jay and Sammy are already looking to come get the WWE tag team belt, so I can see them coming in to help. But who else you think?
I mean, if you bring in those two, you're pretty much good, right?
Yeah,
That'd
you got to find somebody
that'd be 4-on-4.
You got no, because you still got Carlito. You forgot about Carlito. So you got Big Head, you got Big Head and Finn. You got Dom, you got Carlito, and then you got Liv.
Yeah, but I still think what's going to happen there is that you'll see Rhea Ripley take on Carlito. You know, like,
and what do you think about my faction, the Wild Six. So right, so they kind of. How are you? What are your thoughts on the way they're using them so far?
I think it's exactly how they should.
Yeah.
I think that as pro wrestlers, they need to be people, but when they're outside of the ring and they've got that supernatural element, it's completely fine.
Not only that, how sparing. Like they had a wrestling match 2 weeks ago, then you didn't hear from it at all last week, right? So do you think that's good to spread them out like that, or do you think they need to be every week
I
something?
think I think this is that good problem to have. This is that when you think about it, like who is wrestling every week? Bronson Reed.
Hmm.
You
Oh yeah,
know,
he's killing people.
he damn near is killing people.
6 tsunamis on Seth. Seth's out now, and then who did he get last week?
Our truth.
He got R-Truth last week.
He
So
got the Miz.
who can they get to stop him? Right, the one person I thought that they were going to get out there to stop him. Well, when he was doing it to Seth, they had shown Mark Henry and his son in the front row. So I thought maybe Mark Henry or something. No. Then when he did it to the next week, they had just which I think they eventually will. They had just brought up Odyssey Jones. I would love to see an Odyssey Jones and Bronson Reed match.
Oh, that's
But
meat
who,
on meat.
but who else do they have that, I'm saying that they bring out Strowman maybe.
Well, you know what? There's a good choice, but I wouldn't do it too soon. I like this. I like this Bronson Reed getting some actual TV time and not getting jobbed. Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm totally fine with him getting this for a while. Maybe all of a sudden you see him turn babyface through all this, and he goes up against like Karrion Cross or somebody.
He's been chasing that. He's been chasing the was that the Intercontinental? Which one's that on the so he might
Oh, him and
him and
Braun
Braun.
Breaker,
Woo!
which means unfortunately he could go after Sammy first.
Well, Sammy doesn't have the yes, Sammy doesn't have the belt.
I would also, well, I know he doesn't have the belt, but doesn't Sammy get a rematch?
He already had his rematch. He lost it.
Okay then.
Remember we were talking about it last week. I said I think Sammy's going to win. It was a 2 out of 3.
It was a good 2 out of 3 match.
Yeah, my next I had a B question to them that why it sits. Are they done with Gable? And if they are, who's next? You got that. Who's
I
next?
mean,
It's that Goldberg thing.
I think that the New Day versus the Final Testament is about done. So I think that you could go against the Final Testament. I think they could go after the New Day with Odyssey Jones. They could
I think the New Day's breaking up. I think Xavier's leaving. I think it's
well,
going to be
I
Kofi.
last week I'm going to tell you when Odyssey Jones made the save for them. What was that, 2 weeks ago? When he made the save for them, and all of a sudden they're backstage. Xavier looks at Kofi and goes, "Why didn't you tell me about this?"
Yeah.
And he had a look on his face like, I don't know you anymore. Like
Did you see last week where the New Testament came out and Kofi uh he was Cross was talking to Xavier, said, "Are you tired of this now?" And talking about a new match. And then Kobe grabs him like, "Yeah, next week it'll be me, it'll be you three against me, Odyssey, and Xavier." And Xavier's looking at him like because he snatched the mic out of Xavier's hand. So I think the night's gonna be the night.
yeah, and it's probably going to be a Xavier hops off the apron and walks away. That's how
Possibly.
that's kind of how I see it happening. But I don't know. I even saw news today that it says that within the next 12 months, Big E could be cleared, and I'm like, I think that ship sailed, guys. I think he's happy with what he's doing now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get the strap match with McIntyre and Punk. I'm
Is that
okay
the
with
night
that.
or is that tonight or no? That's at
No,
Berlin.
it's gonna be at the pay-per-view. The
I'm all
PLE.
right with that.
Bash
I'm
in
all right with
Berlin.
that.
Yeah. Feud of the year so far, if you ask me, is those two. Like Like Drew McIntyre's on another level right now. It's great. What's up, Chris Barrett?
And Michael Turner said Ivy and Nikki, which yes, so um, Ivy versus Nikki, I like that. But I think right now, I think that the Creeds and Alpha Academy with Ivy and uh, Dupree, I
Yeah.
think that's got to settle first.
Yeah, unless they want to actually take Ivy Nile out of that group and maybe move her over to Alpha Academy, I'd be okay with that too.
Now she used again last week. She jumped Maxine, so no, that ain't happening.
Yeah,
She's sticking. The Diamond Mine's sticking together. Did you not watch Raw last week?
no,
Oh,
I
yeah.
watched it, but I watched it while I was trying to train 3 people how to do work, and they didn't want to do work.
Yeah.
I did, however, watch SmackDown. So let's talk about that really quick.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens versus Grayson Waller. I love the backstage segment between all of them, where Waller and Theory are like Waller obviously hates the fact that Theory did the same thing that Waller's been doing to Theory for the past couple weeks, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll get the dub against Kevin Owens, and of course Kevin Owens walks up and he goes, I don't even know what that means, but I assume because of my win-loss record recently that what a dub means is I'm going to lose this match, and I'm totally there for you. I agree with you. That's what's going to happen on this. And then he punched
Austin Theory is trying to tell him to shut the fuck up because Kevin Owens, he's like, that was awesome.
I do think this is going to lead to Kevin Owens turning full-blown heel, though, with his match coming up against Cody Rhodes. I think Randy Orton might be on Raw for the long term now. I'm not saying he's going to beat Gunther. I don't think he is, but he even opened the show tonight. So I mean, like he might be on Raw for the foreseeable future. Like maybe they think because Seth's actually out with an injury right now, they need Randy Orton for some extra star power over there. And interestingly enough, Tino, after not seeing him for 4 months on SmackDown, Roman Reigns has now been since SummerSlam and 2 SmackDowns in a row.
Well, he's got to build it up. You know, he's got to be there to build it up. You know what I mean? I think, but he's not wrestling. So I think that.
Well, he hasn't even talked yet either.
He's going to show up. He's going to show up. He did talk this Friday, didn't he?
No.
He did. He started. He talked.
Did he?
It wasn't much. Yeah, it wasn't much before what's the name came out and cut him off.
I think he grabbed the microphone and then all of a sudden Solo's music came on.
No, he was talking shit about Solo, and so that's when Solo's music hit. No, he talked, and
Dave Meltzer was found to be completely like full of shit this week when he sat there and he said they're going to keep Jacob Fatu away from Roman Reigns for months.
He can suck a dick. I don't listen to anything he says anyway. He's got a damn hard on for. If Kenny Omega's not, Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they are not in there. It's like it's a damn 2-star match. But again, I get that Roman's trying to be dramatic, but why are we moving slow to pick that thing up and put it on? I'm like, get your shit and get out.
Well, he did put it on.
Yeah, but he took fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah,
to put it on.
Well, it could be because Jacob Fatu had that boot on his foot. Like I'm going to say right now, everyone that said that they think that this is fake, he wouldn't have had the boot on it. Maybe he would have. Maybe he would have. I don't know.
No, it's not. He's legit hurt. I want to talk about the look on Roman's face because I think he got his clock clean for real when he was in the corner and Fatu hit that damn ass bump and the look on Roman's face like, oh, fuck. He saw his eyes go wide. He's like, fuck.
Now Roman has acted in a few things at this point, so
I don't know if that was that. That really looked like he was like that looked real. He might have been acting, but he did a very good job if he was selling and acting. That made me laugh.
I I didn't. So the past 2 weeks with Roman, the first week with him, I didn't like because there's no way that Roman should be able to take on 3 members of the bloodline by himself. This week, they finally got one up on him because it was the 4th member of the bloodline that showed up. And of course, it's the one that everybody thinks is going to end up being the monster of the group, right?
And they put him to the table.
Yeah. And of course, when he hit that table, he was he was like, oh fuck.
How's it feel, Roman? How's it feel? You've been doing this to everybody else. How's it feel?
Yeah. So I
when are we gonna have somebody come out? Because this is the second week he's gotten jumped. When is Jimmy finally gonna come back? When is somebody finally gonna come back?
I think that's why it's taking so long to get everywhere with this, even though we've had Roman now three shows in a row, which is nice because after not having him for months, it's nice to see him actually showing up. But yeah, I think it'll be Jimmy. And if I had to guess, when Roman finally starts talking again, maybe after the first match, that's when you see Paul show up. But I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden you see Jey Uso make the way back over to SmackDown because Roman actually asks him for help. But I think that to keep Jey hot like he is, it has to actually be Roman sitting there going, I need you. I need your help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm saying when, like what's his third week in a row? No, second week in a row. He's got his ass whooped. Jimmy, this week? Did Jimmy finally come back and say, hey, and help him? That's what I'm saying. How many times he gonna get his ass whipped?
Well, Jimmy never left Roman. Remember? Like Roman thought about kicking him out, but it was Solo that kicked him out after Roman disappeared.
Okay, that's not my question.
Okay.
When is it finally going? How many more times are we going to get his ass kicked before somebody says, "Hey, he might need some help"? Is it going to be this week, Friday, maybe? He's second week in a row.
He's only gotten his ass kicked once because he beat the shit out of him. No, he beat the shit out of him that first week.
All right, well,
he was down, but he got up and then he Superman punched everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know when are we going to get the Rock back? You know.
Oh, the Rock's gonna be a while. I'm not really giving 2 shits about the Rock, right? Because it's not that he's not right now in key to this thing. Right now, you've got to me, you have it's Solo's bloodline, right? And you got to bring back Roman. So if you said it's going to be the Usos, Roman, and probably you're right, probably going to be Sammy. Okay, those are the 4 right now. Fuck the Rock. He can come back whenever. but right now, this has to start. You know what I mean?
All right. So to answer your question, do you think that the new bloodline can beat that original bloodline right now? So to answer your question, how long is it going to take? It's going to take however long it takes for us to start seeing them as a legitimate force against Roman and his group, so that way we actually buy the fact that it's a 4-on-4 that we want to see.
The reason why I say no, not yet.
War Games.
Is because Fatu's still hurt.
Yeah.
He gets that boot off. Yeah, they got a dog in that race then. And that's what I'm saying. It's scary. It's sad that Solo's supposed to be the tribal chief and the crown jewel in that. But fucking Jacob Fatu's outshining him every time he's on the screen and every time he is in the ring.
Well, there were a lot of weeks where Jey Uso was outshining Roman, and that's why he became main event Jey Uso. You know?
Yeah, but Roman still had the belt. Roman still had Solo's not.
No, I agree. I agree with you
for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like we knew that the tomahawk steak in that group was Roman. We knew that, right? And I don't think the WWE knew what they had with Jacob when they brought him in.
Now they do.
Well, yeah, it's been a couple weeks, but that doesn't mean that Solo can't become that. But Solo's 2 years in the industry. You know, like
I think it's too much too quick. Now if
I think he's doing great with what he's got. And by the way, like that's amazing because he's literally been put in the highest spot
Yeah,
for a heel in the entire industry.
and still something's missing. Okay, I agree that he's doing good for what he's done, but something's missing. You know what I mean? It's not.
I don't think it's missing. I just don't. You know what I think it might be closer to is that it's force fed to you. Similar to why we didn't like Roman when he was the baby face that they just kept force feeding.
Yeah, but that might be it. But something's not clicking. Something. I think something's missing. And I can't put my finger on it.
A
It's not.
mouthpiece.
It's not clicking for me. I
He
don't know
he
if
went
it's.
he went from being a guy, and sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but he
Oh, you're
went
good.
from being a guy. Did you say yeah? I did.
I said no. You're good. You're good.
He went from being a guy that was just the enforcer to being the Paul Heyman and the enforcer. And not even just the enforcer. Now he's the leader, right? So like he's literally even in a different spot than, and Helios is saying Solo doesn't have it. I disagree. I think that if you felt like Umaga had it, Solo has it.
But Amaga also didn't speak though. That's I think what it is. I don't think Solo. I don't think his
So who
promos.
do you bring in to speak for them? And then we got to move on to the others so that we get you out of here by 10:35.
Oh shit, yeah.
Who do you bring in to be the mouthpiece?
That's a good question. I have to think about that one. Who
Because it's
would
not
be?
going to be Paul.
It's not gonna be Paul. Not Jim Cornette. No. Um,
I mean, Jim Cornette does have history with the Samoans, I believe, but I wouldn't say
he's
that
out
he's
of he's too out of touch. At least Paul Heyman's still in touch. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Cornette's out there. That's a good question. Let me think about that. All right, yeah. We'll
I
think
mean,
on it.
I'll tell you right now, the only guy I can think of that has like that had because he hasn't been in wrestling in I don't know how long is Armando Estrada. Like, could you imagine bringing him in and like he would get instant heat because but I could see them bringing him in just so they could beat him down after he like sits there and does like and then all of a sudden the bloodline just turns on him and says we don't need that. But none of those guys right now have been on a microphone very long, and Solo's the only one that's been able to pick up the mic and actually do something with it. Like, what do you do? Do you bring in someone like Booker T to be their manager because he's actually been working with like Zilla too and other people like and he's actually he brought up like Jacob. I mean, he'd be good. He could do it, especially if he came back as that
I mean,
king.
if The Rock came back, The Rock would be a good mouthpiece for them.
Absolutely. But you'd have to have him there every other week. And when The Rock shows up, The Rock does show up like that. But yeah, like the thing that they're missing right now is that mouthpiece. And by the way, they're also missing the fact that they're not wrestling every week. And you know, we just talked about someone on the other show, the Wyatt Six not wrestling every week. Nobody wrestles every week anymore. And
I think it's good with the Y6. I think that keeps that
it keeps the mystique, absolutely.
yeah.
But where I think it messes up with the bloodline, and unfortunately Jacob Fatu's foot kind of hurts this, is that we need to see more of that. They just get disqualified every week. That they're not trying for wins. They'll take them when they get them. But right now, being the tag team champions, they can get disqualified and keep the belts. You know what I mean? So I think we need more. I think we need more of that. No, you can't have Booker T with the bloodline. It needs to be a dedicated match. Well, see, that's just it. Is if Booker T was only showing up on Fridays, I think he would do it. By the way, I do want to take one quick second, Tino, and just say tonight is Pat McAfee's final night on Raw for a while, and I am actually kind of upset about that.
Football season's back.
Yeah, football season's back, but that also means that I think starting next week we might get the flip flop on who's going to be where, because remember Joe Tessitore is supposed to be coming in as a WWE commentator. So I could see Michael Cole moving over to SmackDown because they're getting ready to move over to USA, but I could see Joe Tessitore coming in as a Raw guy, but then they've got to give him somebody to go with. Pat McAfee could be the Bloodlines manager. I would actually be okay with that because he knows how to get heat if he needs to.
All right, let's get to these predictions.
Hey, do you believe in Joe Hendry?
I believe I'm gonna be out here 10:30. You gonna be by yourself in 15 minutes.
Well, I'm trying. Actually, I was just putting that up there because he is going for the NXT Championship.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy to think about. All right, 0 Hour. 0 Hour has Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii versus Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway.
I'm laughing because I saw when I think it was, I don't remember which episode it was. Statlander accepted it, and Stokely's looking at her. He's all scared. So they came out Friday, and Stokely, yeah, They call you the pit bull. I'm a dog too. Arf, arf. And his bark, I was like, and you can tell he was still like he was looking at Stat like, what? And he barked. He looked at her. He's scared shitless.
You know, it's too bad he works for AEW right now because he would be a good manager for the Bloodline.
Yeah. So you think Statlander? I think Willow and Ishii. I'm talking to Michael Turner.
Oh, it's gotta be Willow and Ishii.
It's gonna be Willow and Ishii.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Casino Gauntlet match. We don't really have to talk about that. I don't know who's even in it.
Well, no, because that's the you get. I think the winner of that gets a title shot.
Match. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah. So who's in it?
Oh, it does actually. No, it doesn't show me who's in it. Basically anybody that's on the card that's not, or that's going to be.
No, I think there was. No, I think there was a couple of names, but okay.
If I had, well, no, I was going to say that I thought it'd be Chris Jericho, but no, but Big Bill's probably in that. The cowboy guy that's with him is probably in that. Yeah, I probably Roderick Strong.
Nice.
So, all right. Ladder match for the Trios Championships. The Bang Bang Gang versus the House of Black versus the Mystery Team versus the Patriarchy, who are the champions currently.
The Mystery Team is supposed to be, so it's going to be the Bang Bang Gang. It's going to be all the challengers pretty much. So that Mystery Team is going to be revealed Wednesday because it's going to be 3-year match there. So
does the Patriarchy lose those belts?
Yes.
Does this actually start the dissension of the Patriarchy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who wins? Probably House of Black, if I had to guess.
I want to say House of Black. Yeah, Michael Turner said House of Black. Who's that third team?
I'll say this:
it's the Mystery Team.
It's because people like Buddy Murphy or Buddy Matthews just signed new contracts, so I would think that they're gonna give them a nice little for that.
All right.
Even Chris Barrett says House of Black. So all right. AEW World Tag Team Championships, the Young Fucks as the champions, FTR, and the Acclaimed.
We said the Acclaimed, so I'm stick with the Acclaimed.
So you agree with that, or you think that do you think that FTR could pin the Acclaimed?
I think the Acclaimed. I think they're getting pushed too hard. I think that the Acclaimed wins and they continue this. They continue the feud with FTR.
All right. Michael Turner says FTR. Chris Barrett says the Acclaimed. I agree. I do think that the Acclaimed end up pinning FTR for this so that the Young Bucks stay out of the decision, but lose the titles. Chris Jericho versus Hook.
Hook gets his comeuppance, and I think this is when Joe comes back because we already had the other guy. This was I can't remember his name with the speaking say. So I think Joe comes back and helps Hook with that win.
Should they even care about the FTW championship at this point?
Yeah.
All right. I agree with you. I say Hook. Coffin match for the TNT championship. Darby Allin versus Jack Perry.
I'm gonna say Jack Perry wins it because he came out with his own belt. Now, let me preface this. I
Mhm.
changed my mind, and I'm gonna say this. So you didn't watch Collision, I know. So Jack Perry had a match on Collision with a jobber, right?
Sure.
He had a body bag. He beat the jobber. He had his body bag. He paints the jobber's side of his face white with spray paint. He puts him in this body bag that says Darby, and in that body bag he puts the title in there, zips it up, and pulls out his own belt. Now my original thought was Darby wins and he wins that title. But do you remember when Sean was hurt, but he said he left, he was still the Intercontinental Champion, and Razor had the belt? So I think Darby wins, but I think that Scapegoat still runs around with his belt saying, no, I'm still the champion. And eventually they're going to have a match to unify those belts.
The reason why I really like that idea is because I think the Scapegoat is going to paint an X on that championship,
Because
and
it's
he's
already black. It's already black. You remember? And it looks like an old title. They just spray painted black. It looks like an old. It looks like the title he has, but it's spray painted black. And it's got a bunch of scratches on it. So I think you're right. He might spray paint something else on there.
But the reason why I say that is because that'd be another dig at CM Punk. Because remember, CM Punk had the
Oh.
I never lost the world title, spray painted it black, and then carried it around until he got fired.
I forgot about that. Also, I might be onto something.
But that also might mean that he ends up squeaking out a win against Darby Allin so that he can actually continue to carry the belt for that reason. Now, and that's what I'm going to go with on this. So I'm going to disagree with you on that. And I'm going to say that it's going to be because the Elite can't lose all their matches.
Well,
So
you still got
Okada.
Cesaro against
Did you
Cesaro.
say Cesaro versus Okada?
That's the match.
Yeah, so Okada's winning that match.
Yes, so it wouldn't hurt them for Jack to lose that belt.
Yeah, I still think that the Young Bucks are going to be like, oh, the Elite need to still come out on top tonight. So losing one match and winning two, I think that's kind of where I'm going with that.
All right, so Chris and Michael agree with me.
Okay.
All right, Darby.
I like your idea. I don't think they'll do it.
Yeah.
Although Tony Khan might be in the audience now. We did just gain another viewer. All right, let's see. So you said Darby, I said Jack Perry. AEW American Championship.
That's so fucking stupid.
Can they figure out what to call this fucking belt, please?
Well, no, it's
third time they've changed the name of it.
No, MGF changed the name of it being an asshole. It's everybody else still calls it whatever belt it is. It's MJF calling it the American belt. And I guarantee when Will Ospreay wins, and he will, they'll change it back to what it's supposed to be called. Whatever they land.
He has to win this match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
bro.
Dude says bro about as often as Vince Russo says bro.
Because I think that Ozzy, oi, Fletcher is going to come help him. And I think possibly might come back.
Well, the question is whether or not Daniel Garcia signed a new contract or not. Because if he doesn't sign a new contract, I think he's done with them. And I think they just wrote him off.
He's going to the E. Because they're interested in him too.
Right now, there's a lot. Well, Ricky Starks, him. There's people that know that he's talented. They want him, and you and I have talked about how NXT needs to reload, and with the CW stuff, October 1st, like they're gonna want a really good roster there, and Daniel Garcia would be a prime North American Championship candidate right now for Obafemi. Both of them.
Okay. I was going to say, I think Starks is ready to go to after that championship. I think
Starks is NXT bound.
Yeah.
I think that one's easy. TK is alleging that he's been saying that Triple H has been tampering with contracts. Here's the problem with contract tampering. Really quick, you run the risk, and TK's been doing it too, because the Young Bucks talk to people, and when they talk to people and they say, "Hey, you should come to AEW," guess what? Like, look at Maximum Male Models; they're now with AEW, right? So like you every single one of them is feeling out for themselves. So it's not contract tampering if it's someone reaching out to you to say, what can I get? It's if you sit there and go, hey, like anything more than, hey, when's your contract end? Who's your agent so we can talk to them about when your contract ends? You say anything more than that, then yes, you're contract tampering. But they all do it. It's fucking wrestling.
Yes.
They've done it since fucking Lex Luger showed up on the first Nitro.
Yep.
Anyways, Mercedes versus Britt Baker. Mercedes.
I hate it.
The fact that Britt Baker. Oh, we didn't even talk about the MJF's comments on the Britt Baker getting suspended and him not for their altercation. Because she was suspended, like if wrestling is the way that it normally is, you got suspended, you got to do the job, right? Regardless of who should actually go over in the match.
I say no. That's not why I said it. I said Monet because she just got her heater. You know what I'm saying? So I think the heater helps her keep the belt. Now Britt loses this time, but I think it will be a rematch, and I think Britt will get her next time.
What if they have someone like Thunder Rosa help Britt Baker out? Someone who she's always had heat with. What?
She's got her hands full with damn Deonna Purrazzo, and I if anything, I'd rather see Thunder Rosa come back and probably not in the women's and help Toni Storm lose.
Well, then what about Jamie Hayter?
Well, I've been saying for a long time, Toni Storm needs to.
No. I'm still talking about the Mercedes versus Britt match.
Okay, yeah.
What about Jamie Hayter coming back?
That's a step back for her. You know, from going from world champion to TBS champion. You know what I mean?
It would, but I mean, Thunder Rosa didn't even get to go after the belt she never lost. But here's something funny. This is funny to me. Chris Barrett agrees with me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Monet goes over.
Yeah, Monet goes over, and the only way that this wouldn't happen is if they pulled a swerve over all of our eyes, and what's her face ends up turning on Monet.
I doubt that.
I would love it though. It'd be great.
It's too soon. It will happen, but it's too soon.
No, I agree. All right, Timeless Toni Storm versus Mariah May. Got to give it to Mariah.
Yeah, I hate it.
I love it. Love it. She has been so good. And by the way, it's time for Toni Storm to drop the belt.
Not to Mariah though.
Why not? She's British. You're in England. It's a better move than last year's.
They gave it to Saraya last year, so that's why I don't think they're going to do it 2 years in a row. Everybody's expecting.
Chris Barrett agrees with you. Michael agrees with me.
I don't think it's. And plus, you've got Bruv, who's probably going to win. You don't want all your British stars winning. You see what I'm saying? And I don't think Mariah's ready for it yet.
Oh,
yes, she's good. Yes, she's improved it now. You just saying that because she's hot, and I'm not going with the hot.
Toni Storm's hot.
Yeah, but Toni Storm's also isn't as green as Mariah May still is. I don't think Mariah's ready. Now, how come you say she's ready, but when I say all these other things, no, they're not ready. I don't see them being past the U.S. title or past the. But Mariah May's ready. No,
who exactly are you talking about right now?
I said LA Knight for a world champion. You like, no, he's not going to do it. I said,
no.
A couple of names.
hold on. I would have been okay with LA Knight winning the world championship, but I said they weren't going to give it to him. Don't revisionist history on me.
That's what you're trying to do now, but okay.
No, sir. I absolutely agree with you. I would have loved him winning Money in the Bank last year and winning the world title. We had that conversation multiple times. Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson.
Bryan Danielson, we've already said that.
We did not already say that.
Okay. Okay. We did, but okay, Bryan Danielson.
I think Nigel McGuinness screws Bryan Danielson in this match.
Why?
Well, see, that's what I don't get, and that's where I'm worried about it, because there's talks and rumors that Nigel McGuinness has wanted a final match against Bryan Danielson at Wembley Stadium since last year, right?
That motherfucker can't wrestle no more. Didn't he have like the herpes or something that put him out? Or hepatitis? I'm not trying to be funny. He's got something like that, right?
Well, hepatitis you can get cleared up. That's what my old job used to actually do. But no, I don't think it was anything like that. I think he had something else and he couldn't get cleared, because I remember him having like a match against Kurt Angle in TNA, and then all of a sudden he was like instantly no longer allowed to wrestle, and it was like, the fuck's he even doing here then? But
right.
but he said that he's gotten himself into work shape, and he thought he was going to be, because remember, Danielson last year when it came to All In couldn't wrestle. Like he broke his leg or some shit, remember?
Right.
Maybe not his leg, maybe that was the orbital bone thing that he had.
But here's my question though. If he wants his match with Daniel Bryanson in Wembley, and this year, what are you laughing at?
Bryanson.
Yeah, you know what I meant. Bryan Danielson. And this is because they're not doing All In. They're doing it in Texas next year. So when would they be back in England for him to have that match with Bryan?
Oh, no. That's where people are saying what's going to happen is he's going to screw Danielson out of winning the title, and then Danielson's going to demand a match with him right there after the title match is over. So that way it's still in England. And by the way, Tony Khan did say, while All In's not going to be in Wembley next year, they are coming back to Europe. Because
so he's going to wrestle a match, which I am sure Swerve's going to beat the piss out of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be beat down, and then have another match.
This is why I didn't like hearing this idea, because one, it demeans Swerve's championship, because suddenly the champion doesn't go on last, right? If Swerve hops out of the ring after winning and then Danielson demands a match against Nigel McGuinness. So I don't like that idea. But see, that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you about it, because I could see Tony Khan doing this.
Well, we've already established my thoughts on the way they've handled this Swerve Strickland title reign is just disrespectful. They wouldn't do this shit with anybody else. You know what I mean?
Well, this isn't just you. This is both of us have said this.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do. It's one of the reasons I'm like, I don't.
So Chris Barrett agreed with you. He thinks it was hepatitis that Nigel had, and again, like, hepatitis is something that you can take medications for and actually like be cleared of it. So, depending on which version of it is, if he had hepatitis B, he might be screwed. But they have talked about him actually having this match against Danielson. They talked about it last year for All In. So
not happy about it.
I want Danielson to win this match. So I'm going to say yes. I agree. Danielson wins. I could actually see Nigel McGuinness coming and hitting him after he wins the match. But I still think no matter what, there's going to be something like for whatever reason, I still think there's something that's just gonna make it feel like Swerve didn't get what he deserved, which is a clean win or loss in the biggest show that they're gonna do this year. And I just think that
Now, if they did it this way, it would be more respectful. I kind of like what you said. Let Danielson and Swerve have their match, right? Swerve loses. If he loses clean, they're good. Swerve leaves. Maybe Danielson's celebrating, and Nigel hits him. Then, you know what I mean? But still, it's not let Swerve's not getting his final
he is.
on the. You know what I mean?
If
So
Swerve
yeah,
by the way, if Swerve loses this match, he probably had the worst title run out of everybody, and that includes Joe.
if Swerve loses this match, I don't know what his contract is up. He might go back to WWE because I think now WWE probably sees what he can do now. Kind of like when Cody left and came back, right? Like Drew left and came back. It's weird to me. Like they don't know what they have until they leave and make something themselves. Then oh yeah, you're good, and then bring him back.
I mean, that's definitely part of it, but I think that Triple H knew what he had with Swerve. I think him and Shawn in NXT definitely knew what they had with Swerve. I don't think Vince knew what they had with Swerve.
So you think now, if his contract is up, you think Triple H would be like, oh yeah, come back?
Triple H would like blah, 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 a little bit on that one. Like this guy is primed now, but I don't think he's anywhere close to his contract being over. Yeah. I think he probably signed a 5-year deal when he signed, and he's probably 2.5 years into it.
Has it been? I thought it's been longer than that, isn't it?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, because remember they brought back Hit Row when Triple H actually took over. And now all of Hit Row except for B-Fab is gone.
I bet you if he came back,
Ashante the Adonis is still there, but he's in NXT now. Swerve would be one. Swerve would be one that would have to all of a sudden like literally be thrown right in the mix with like an LA Knight, if not higher up on the card.
I think he'd be higher up on the card. Well, I think they might start him right there with an LA Knight-ish kind of, but he'll
my point with where I think they look at so on SmackDown, I think they look at that LA Knight championship as like you might wrestle every week, but you are the top guy basically, or the top of the hour guy. You know what I mean? Whereas Swerve recently, as the AEW World Champion, has been second guy, fourth guy, sometimes the last guy, but
Chris Barrett.
I mean, Hit Row was awful when they went to the main roster.
They're the only two potential, but you see what Swerve Strickland's doing now. Swerve Strickland was part of Hit Row.
I mean, Swerve Strickland is a main eventer.
Yeah, but he's saying that he said beef.
I know what he's saying. I'm not paying it any mind. I'm sitting here talking with you.
March 2022 is when he signed with AEW.
So if it's a 5-year deal, he's got two more years on it, or 3 more years on it.
Damn,
2.5 years. Actually, 2.5, which is exactly what I said. and Tony likes getting those 5-year contracts. Like some of these people, their contracts are coming up, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with a guy like Keith Lee, where he hasn't been able to wrestle because he's had like some sort of blood disorder or some shit. And whether or not Tony Khan lets him out of his contract, or he sits there and he does what the WWE does and goes, hey, we're adding 2.5 years to your deal because you didn't work for 2.5 years. Aleister Black asking for time off. Like, yeah, I'll give you the time off. I'll even pay you while you're off. But guess what? I'm going to add time to your contract. So like Adam Cole's going to be with AEW until AEW closes. Like, I'm sorry. and I'm glad I popped you on that, but like that's what's gonna
See,
happen.
He wrestled on like 6 months of his contract.
And he said he signed a 5-year deal. So think about that. Like oh, you showed up. Well, except here's the thing: showing up for dates is still showing up, right? So when he hobbled down on his damn thing and turned on Max, and every week that Adam was happening, guess what? He was on TV. So that was Tony Khan being stupid and not taking that contract for whatever he could. And you know what? I'm not going to go on for more time because I know you want to get off of here. I think we had a great show tonight. Is there anything you're watching on TV? I ask this every week.
I'm just watching a bunch of. I'm a true crime guy, so I'm watching Max, watching different things like right now, watching Fatal Affairs and stuff, not people dying and killing each other. So that's not, as far as a real TV show, I can't think of one right now that I'm watching.
Well, this week is the final episode of Evil. So I almost want to pour one out for my homie. I'm actually very disappointed that they're not picking it up, though there is rumors that it could get picked up. Just like there finally is a real date for Heels on Netflix.
But it's the two seasons we've
The
already
two
seen.
seasons we've already seen, but Mike O'Malley, the guy who played Charlie Gully in the show and is the showrunner, has said the hope is that they get the Cobra Kai treatment where they pick it back up and actually bring it back for more because it just takes over on Netflix. And it has the possibility of doing that with the popularity of pro wrestling right now. That show has an opportunity to really be something special.
I sat there and binge watched. What was the one they did on the one where what's his name is now? Where he doesn't sell chairs.
House Snow?
Yeah,
Oh, the wrestlers.
Yeah, that
It's
was
actually
good.
called The Wrestlers, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that one did well. I thought.
It helped OVW actually. They were able to pay for like another year of stuff. Chris Barrett, yes, I don't think you sent me that Fanatics Fest stuff, but I did see it and I was shocked to see that WWE sold out all of their appearances, whereas no other sport did, which was fucking phenomenal. Like apparently there was 70,000 tickets sold for the WWE wrestlers to be met and greeted, as well as getting autographs and everything else. So, like pro wrestling is, and I say pro wrestling is the hottest it's been in forever. But let's keep in mind.
We always say that it's cyclical. Was that, did I say that right? Cyclical. So
no, you said it right. You said it right.
Cyclical. Back in cycles.
It does. It does. And the cycle right now is definitely like, but AEW is not in the same cycle apparently, and that's been the whole issue, right? Is that the WWE selling out 52 places like on a weekly basis, and AEW is not.
I've noticed that because I think it's SmackDown. One of them does is like they do a running time like this is like
32 weeks in a row or whatever.
Yeah, like, it's amazing. And we even watching those shows, like I remember, and we used to sit there and like, well, that arena's not filled, and now it's like, holy fuck, you know what I'm saying?
And yet with AEW, sometimes you have to see the creative like camera work to not show like 12 rows up. You know, and it's nothing against them. It's just the fact that, like, I think that they catered to the same audience for so long, they didn't gain new fans. Where the WWE, and we talked about this, and this is genius on their part, was that the WWE went international to sit there and sell out places that they hadn't been in 10 or 15 years. So that when they came back home, we were all sitting there going, no shit, we're going to sell this place out too.
And you notice too, I think
Raleigh fucking sold out the last time.
we talked
And
about.
what do I always say about Raleigh, Tino?
Yep, you do.
I say
And
Raleigh never sells out.
It's small things like when they went overseas, they started singing the songs. They were singing Randy Orton to the ring. I mean, Chris Jericho was getting this treatment before, but they're singing Randy Orton. They're singing
Seth Rollins.
They're singing
AJ Styles in fucking France. Jesus Christ.
And so now, if you notice, now they're back in the States. They're singing Orton to the ring. You know, they're always saying Cody and Seth to the ring, but it's like now it's
with Cody, they didn't really sing a song. They would do the whoa, but now they're singing the song.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. But you know, like and I'm surprised the WWE hasn't started doing this with the newer wrestlers, which is what AEW did, where they started putting the chants into the songs. And I hope WWE doesn't pick up on that. Although with Ospreay, it worked. With Monet, I don't think it did. You know what I mean?
Well, they did it with Seth. I guess isn't really a chant. That was just the fans just started singing.
Whoa, yeah.
And they did it with Shinsuke too.
Yeah. Oh, well, Shinsuke, they started that in NXT.
Yeah.
And even the thing that they used to do for Sami Zayn, you know, like NXT, like the people that are still there from like 2014, 2015 NXT are still getting that treatment, you know, like, so it's interesting.
And I think they like saying like CM Punk.
Shut up, Chris Barrett.
CM Punk, you know, it's clouding. With the Sami Zayn that oh, and they all let's go. And it's just awesome. It's just awesome.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but WWE is really in a rare spot. Like this is peak Attitude Era right now in terms of how hot it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that major stars just want to be featured on the show. The fact that the two of the basketball players that were at Fanatic Fest were asked the question of, will you ever get in the ring and face each other in WWE? Like, what the fuck? You know? It's you got all that, but then you look at AEW, and AEW is getting 1,500 people a show or 3,000 people a show when it was 10,000 last year. Yeah. And the cycle isn't all of pro wrestling, but I think there's a couple things real quick. Number one is they keep going to the same markets. I think that's the thing that WWE realized that they can't do all the time. And that's why they went overseas for all their PLEs this year, is the fact that like you can't go to the same market and just oversaturate it. How many shows has AEW done in Chicago since they started? Like, and their best show that they did was the second episode of Rampage, and that was when CM Punk arrived. After that, it's been, bleh, you know, New York, Orlando. Doing shows in the same fucking cities, you're not going to get the same return on investment. The reason why the Performance Center does for NXT is because it's free. You walk up, if there's room, they let you in. That's it, right? So that's the difference. That's where we're not seeing that anymore. I told you I didn't want to keep you on here, so I'm going to stop now. But we finally hit a really good portion of conversation there, and yet I told you I'm going to stop. I'm not going to keep you here.
You said that like 15 minutes ago.
I know, but it was good conversation.
Yes, it was.
So, Tino, tell everybody how to reach you.
I am on the Twitter. I refuse to say X. HootieFan91.
I refuse to say it, but I said X.
Insta SC Tino, Snap SC Tino. You catch me on the TikTok Tino Gray Music. You can catch Potsy and Tino right here each and every week. Please like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Buy our shit. You can also catch us on Twitter with Potsy and Tino, Facebook with the Potsy and Tino Show.
Pochak on Twitter, Rob Pochak on Instagram, Rob Potsy Pochak on I'm sorry, Rob Pochak on YouTube, Rob Potsy Pochak on Instagram, as well as on TikTok. And I think that's all of mine. Obviously, he already said the Potsy and Tino show and everything else. Folks, I had a blast tonight.
Oh, Adam's House Cats. Sorry, I want to say thank you to Adam's House Cats for the wrestling song. I did that because Michael Turner. Then we want to say thank you to Adam's House Cat for the wrestling song. You can get it on iTunes for. Here's Michael Turner taking my line. That's gimmick infringement, brother. 99 cents by 9.
Baby, that's gimmick infringement. You can't.
That's gimmick infringement, baby. You have to deal with the big dusty.
Michael Turner, you're gonna have to show us the money, baby.
Show me the money, baby.
Folks, I had a blast. I know Tino did.
Yeah, that was fun.
We will see you next week and
next Thursday.
Yes, next Thursday. Next Thursday. Tino has an engagement on Monday night. I might show up on Monday night. Don't expect me long if I do. But yeah, Thursday night we will have our prediction show for Bash in Berlin.
Wow.
What's that?
I said, wow, I can't believe that's already here. I was like, it seemed like they announced it like, hey, you got a month. And like, it's on, dude, it's like school starting, dude. It's like September, like in a couple of weeks. It's years.
Dude, we're almost at the holidays. Like
your birthday.
Yeah, you know what's gonna happen? We're literally gonna walk into like a food line and they're gonna have fucking Halloween candy. So with that, everybody, we are out of here. I'm going to play the Motor City Machine Guns and
Motor City Machine Guns.
Ready? Motor City Machine Guns and Potsy and Tino.
for the Potsy and Tino show.
Thanks for watching.